JB Terry.
Their own destinies, each in first place in their respective divisions. Denver comes in with the AFC's best record, the league's #2 defense, the league's #5 offense. The missing piece is injured quarterback Brian Griese, out for at least a couple of weeks with a bad knee. The good news for Denver, his backup is veteran Steve Beuerlein, who could start for a lot of teams in the National Football League. Indianapolis is threatening to become a complete team. It was their defense, of all things, that made a major difference in the last couple of weeks. And that big play offense is feeding off of it, Joe, especially the red-hot Peyton.
Why Peyton's become so red hot again, Mike, is because he finally has a running game. The last 2 weeks against Philadelphia and Dallas, the running backs managed to gain over 100 yards. It sets up his play-action game. That's where Peyton Manning can be so effective. But tonight they run into a little bit of a problem. The Denver Broncos, #1 against the run. They give up less than 70 yards a game. So the load for this game falls on the shoulders of Peyton Manning. He's going to have to do what he's done the last couple of weeks. Be a little bit more patient. As a matter of fact, he's completed over 75% of his passes in the last 2 weeks. And oh, Paul, has he found himself something special? He'll get the chance possibly to go down the field to what we got to believe is the best in the business, Marvin Harrison.
Marvin Harrison is the most unheralded player in the National Football League. The other day we talked to Rod Smith, who is a great receiver for the Denver Broncos, and he said Marvin Harrison is the best receiver in the National Football League. When I asked Peyton Manning yesterday, why is he so good? He said because of his great speed. Tony Dungy, his coach, says there's one other thing, his quickness that goes along with that speed. Marvin Harrison goes into this game tonight leading the National Football League with 89 catches. You know that no one in the history of the National Football League has caught 100 balls 4 straight years in a row. Well, Marvin Harrison is going to do it this year. And you know the great part about Marvin Harrison? He's only 6 foot tall. He weighs about 165 pounds, and they still haven't figured out how to slow him down.
All right, thank you, Paul. When we come back, they may play for different teams, but Clinton Portis and Edgerrin James share a common heritage. We'll explain after this. Has arrived in Denver, 23 degrees and falling. Winds out of the east. We will have snow showers during this game.
Ha! It is not 23 degrees. It's 23 degrees in our booth, but it's not 23 degrees down on that field.
76,000 plus on hand, braving the weather here in Denver to watch their first place Broncos against the first place Indianapolis Colts. And Peyton Manning will get first shot on offense as the Colts will receive Micah Noor kicking to Troy Walters. Walters to the 19 and no more. Kelly Herndon on special teams made the tackle.
Marvin Harrison leads the National Football League in receptions. The question is, how do you cover him? How do you play this guy? Do you think about playing him man-to-man? You got Delta O'Neal and Bernard Walker. This is the thing that they're going to have to confront all night long. People say they've tried to hit him. They can't hit him. He's too quick off the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you what, I don't know if there's a guy down on this field that can cover Marvin Harrison man-to-man.
Harrison leading the NFL, 89 catches coming in. Manning to throw on first down, can't find anyone. Then dumps it over the middle.
Paul, you bring up, Paul brings up an interesting point. What the Colts decide to do is they've gone to a 3-wide set. They're going to have Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and also Kadri Ismail, who's back, playing. And what they want to do to try and give Marvin a chance to work against the secondary so he can't get pressed is they're going to put him in the slot from time to time and let the linebackers try and figure out how to contain him instead of just the DBs.
Second and about 5. Manning with all the noise trying to change the play. James breaks one tackle, but Tyrone Poole came up off the corner and hit him in the backfield.
You know, with this defense here, they are so good and so quick. The thing that makes the Denver Broncos so good on defense, very easy. They have 3 of the fastest linebackers combined in the National Football League. These guys can move all up and down this field from sideline to sideline.
Third down, 6 for the Colts. Blitz coming. James on a little flare. First down and more to the 40-41-yard line. Tyrone Poole made another stop.
You know what makes this play work? Marvin Harrison comes off the line of scrimmage on this side of the field. Two backs cover him. Nobody covers James. Look at this. Look downfield. Number 88 is Marvin Harrison. He's now blocking.
Well, the other side of it, too. There's Harrison. He releases. Now, James goes out. Mobley gets caught on the rush. And you're right. There's tons of space out there, Paul.
First down, Indianapolis. It's zone 41 on the opening drive. Play action by Manning. Then a late screen to James. Poole again up, messing up the timing of the screen. Then Wilson and Gold clean it up.
One of the things that jumps out at you as this game begins is it looks like the Indianapolis Colts are going to want to try and establish throwing the football, similar to the way the Oakland Raiders did a few weeks ago against this defense, basically saying, we concede that you're a very good run football team, especially with the big guys in the middle. So let's try and loosen it up and spread the ball around and let the runners go into space.
Edgerrin James, 1 carry, 3 catches so far. James with another rush. Breaks it back inside across the 45, near the 47-yard line. Monte Rigor downfield to make the stop.
You know, it just seems like it would be easy to run with this football team because of the way Peyton Manning fakes the ball all the time. The linebackers have to hold because even look at this run play. Now watch Manning. Look at him carry it out. If you're a linebacker, you're downfield looking to a guy, you really don't know if he still has the ball or not.
3rd and 4. Manning wants Pollard to move. 4-man rush. Harrison with his first catch of the night. That's 90 for the season and a strike from Peyton Manning.
Easy.
That's what is so impressive about Peyton Manning. He didn't like the fact that Pollard was on the line because he felt like the pressure might get there. Watch how important Pollard is in the blocking scheme. Here he is on the right part of your screen. You see the tackle get beat clean. Adam Meadows just gets beat clean, but Pollard is right there to clean up and help out on the block.
Manning perfect so far. Manning with time again, and Poole nearly had the interception. Tyrone Poole, who has 1 sack this year, plays in the nickel, almost had his first interception.
That's double coverage on the outside. Look at this. You've got Poole out there along with Walker.
I think Tyrone Poole was concerned about trying to get his feet inbounds to keep the reception and just lost focus on the ball. He has to realize he's a defensive back. He doesn't worry about that.
Denver shows blitz. They go with a run to James. Chester McLaughlin, the veteran, former Pro Bowler on the tackle.
Edgerrin James is a patient runner. I don't think that being patient against this defense is a very good idea. I think he's going to have to speed up his moves a little bit. Doesn't have the yards this year that he's had the past couple of years, and you see even his yards per carry is down. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he has been hurt. Hamstring, ankles, coming back from a knee.
It's a tough combination for Edgerrin James. Blitz coming off the corner. Manning throws the other way, and Harrison makes the catch and sprightly steps out of bounds.
Paul, I got a question. You talked about him. He's got 89 catches. How does he wind up one-on-one outside? I mean, how do you do this?
I said before, you don't have anybody on this football team that can cover him one-on-one. And all that Marvin Harrison ever does is he knows where the marker is. Peyton Manning knows where the marker is, the first down marker. They get to it. Whatever they get after that, that's okay. That's just a little bit of gravy.
Nobody ever got to 600 faster than Harrison, and you saw the respect for the speed by Delta O'Neal. He was backing off. James again. breaks a couple of tackles, puts his head down and dives inside the 30. Let's go to Susan.
Peyton says he is always looking for Marvin Harrison, which partly explains their 55 TD connections in their 5 years together. Only one pair of teammates tops them in a 5-year span. That's Young to Rice with 59. Peyton insists Marvin is 100% reliable. He is always where he is supposed to be.
And you know, Susie, both of those guys have such class. With all their success, they just hand the ball to the official and go back about their business. Manning fumbles the snap, and it looked like Jeff Saturday pounced on it. The center got right back down.
If I did all the turning around that Manning did at the line of scrimmage, I'd be dizzy. I wouldn't be able
He would.
to
He's
throw the
spinning
ball.
around. But you know what? It's not window dressing because he's in a different division. He doesn't have to fool people as much anymore. He plays against different teams, but look at all the activity. There's his center, Jeff Saturday. He's even pointing. He's pointing right, pointing left, swing around. This probably caused a little bit of the fumble. Getting under the center a little quick, a little bit of a hurry.
This will be the 12th play of the drive. 3rd and 7 from the Denver 29. James. They go with a run on 3rd and long and nearly made the first down. Bertrand Berry had to hustle downfield to make the stop.
The interesting thing, talking to Peyton Manning yesterday, we're asking about, you're going to have to run the ball to win this football game. And what he said to us was, yeah, we are going to run the ball, but we're going to run the ball outside with Edgerrin James. We don't want to go up in the middle with Chester McLaughlin sitting in there. He said, we're better off trying to get to the outside, even though their linebackers are that quick.
And the other thing he talked about was what they started to do in the last couple of weeks is they've started to run the ball in obvious passing situations. For example, that was 3rd and long. You'd expect them to throw. What they've done is they feel the confidence now with Edgerrin James, and said, okay, go get it for us.
They're almost a whole yard, well, a half a yard anyway from making this thing. I think they just want to take time, take a look at it, and decide whether they want to try to field goal, which they have one of the better kickers in the National Football League, or go for it.
Mike Shanahan either complaining about the spot or the fact that they are giving them a measurement.
Well,
take a look at it. It's going to be almost a yard.
Peyton Manning went and asked for it. Now, it's part of the chess game that you play as a coach and a quarterback. If they'll give it to you, you take it because it's 4th down. He gets a chance to confer with Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator. Now they get to make a decision on what they want to do.
Kick a field goal.
Tony Dungy says, let's put some points on the board.
And Mike Vanderjagt will come in. He's in the worst slump of his career, missed 5 of his last 8, and he says he has no answer. But this is still the most accurate kicker in the history of the National Football League.
And he's only 3 for 8 from 40 to 49 yards, and this one will be a little bit over 40.
They've got to make the special teams coach feel real good. You know what's wrong? No.
Just trying to work through it. A 41-yard attempt by Vanderjagt to take the lead. And hooks it inside the right upright. Vanderjagt by a lot from 41 yards out. And the Colts take the opening kickoff and get 3. Colts on the opening drive get a field goal from Vanderjagt and lead it 3-0 from snowy Denver, Colorado. Peyton Manning nearly perfect on the opening drive. He said it's really important for this team to get off to a fast start, and they did. Ruben Drones to return the kick from the 6-yard line. And Drones stopped at the 29. Donnell Thompson on special teams for Indianapolis. Steve Beuerlein made the Pro Bowl in '99 for Carolina. He has not played since 2000. Every year.
How about that sky? Is that any good?
Oh, yeah. That was before the Snow King. Beuerlein to throw on 1st down. And throws wide of McCaffrey, covered well by Harris.
It's not like Steve Beuerlein doesn't bring a resume into this game. For the last couple of years, he played the 2 full seasons, '99 and 2000. One of the best in the game. Brings a lot of experience, has a stronger arm probably than Greasy. And the thing is, he's a natural leader. been around a long time. And, he knows he's not the future of this football team. But like my old coach George Allen used to say, the future is now. And for Steve Beuerlein, it is now.
And it just shows how bright Mike Shanahan is to get a backup quarterback of this quality, because most guys can't go a full year without being hurt. Beuerlein goes underneath. Carswell up to the 38-yard line. Washington and Peterson in on the tackle. Steve Beuerlein has been in this league for 16 years, and he's thrown for more than 22,000 yards and 141 touchdowns.
Not too bad, huh?
No, pretty good numbers.
36 of them in Carolina in '99 when he went to the Pro Bowl.
And threw for more than 4,400 yards, and then was summarily released in 2000.
And Mike Shanahan's had his share of success here as well, winning a couple Super Bowls.
Portis gets his first carry and lunges across the 40. First down. When Brian Gracie went down in the third quarter last week, Beuerlein came in. He threw 2 passes. He happened to get 2 touchdowns to help lead the Broncos to a 31-19 win. When he got into the huddle, he said to his teammates, "Hey, guys, I've forgotten how much fun it is to run around out here." Well, when you're 2 for 2 and both are touchdowns, it's got to be a lot of fun.
I can't understand why he didn't get a perfect rating. 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns.
Yardage.
I don't care.
That rating, you can keep that. Portis swarmed under by Larry Triplett.
Clinton Portis brings a little bit of a different style of back to the Denver Broncos. You had the Terrell Davis, who has the speed and power. Then you got Olandis Gary, more of a power back. Mike Anderson, more of a power back. Clinton Portis is the guy who, once he gets one step on somebody, nobody's going to catch him. He hasn't really broken the big one yet here, but he's had a couple of them over 40 that have been close.
2nd and 8. Portis out of the eye and dives across the 45 to the 47-yard line. And there's a flag down. It's going to be against Denver.
The one thing about this Colt defense, when you look at it and you talk to the Denver Broncos about them, a year ago, they weren't very good.
Illegal motion, setback. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And the biggest improvement on this football team is this defense. And what happens with this defense when you talk to the Denver Broncos is that they don't give up the big play. They make you play in front of them.
Well, they've added some interesting pieces. David Gibson joined the team first part of October. He's playing strong safety. Dwight Freeney has now worked himself into the starting lineup along with Chad Bransky and Bransky Owen.
And in the last 2 games, they have allowed 1 touchdown. And Sharp, they expect him back in a couple of weeks. He's been out with a dislocated right elbow. They've really had to change their offense without him. Beuerlein on 3rd down, throws. McCaffrey knew exactly where the sticks were and got the first down. For more on Beuerlein, here's Susan.
Well, Mike, as you know, he hasn't started a game in almost 2 years, but he said he wasn't concerned about the physical conditioning because he always stays in shape. It was more of the mental conditioning. Having not played 4 quarters in a long time, the concern staying focused for 3 hours and being under the pressure of that live action, moving around in the pocket with hands reaching out to you. His knowledge, his instincts, that you don't lose.
Susie, only Flutie and Testaverde, older quarterbacks in the NFL. Portis, nice cut. Clinton Portis to the Colt 38-yard line. Idris Bashir had to stop it.
This is the thing that makes the Denver Broncos so successful in their offensive line. They're not big, but watch what they do. They stretch you. They get whichever way you want to go, they'll go. And what they want then is Portis to make the move, make that one move in the backfield. But this offensive line is, when they got one guy over 300 pounds, and that's it.
And when you do that, when you can run to the edges, it sets up a lot of great play action to bring somebody back across the field. In this case, if you wanted to bring a Rod Smith across the field, you'd have the opportunity off the play action.
Colts move early. Beuerlein under pressure, throws, intercepted at the 16-yard line, intended for McCaffrey, picked off by David Gibson, who is now the starting strong safety.
I don't care how long you've been in the National Football League, you just do not throw this pass.
He tries to force it in. The play was set up for play action, and it comes out of his hands looking like a place trying to land. Unfortunately, it landed in the wrong guy's hands if you're a Bronco.
Beuerlein with the interception. Brian Greasy coming over to consult. Gary Kubiak, Mike Shanahan. One thing that may have influenced that, Beuerlein may have felt he had a free play. He could have felt the Colts were offsides. It looked like someone was in the neutral zone. Manning to throws short and complete. Marcus Pollard is tight end.
I want to show you what they were trying to do in the last play. That's Rod Smith down bottom. That's Portis up top. This was the play they ran just before. Beuerlein's going to try and work himself back away and then hit Rod Smith in the middle. What happens, though, is Dwight Freeney puts pressure on him, forces him out of his rhythm, and Beuerlein just hangs one up in the middle of the field that Bashir picks off.
James. Stutter stepping his way about a foot shy of a first down. Kavika Pittman made the tackle.
You know what?
Is there anybody in the league who has more control of his offense or who uses that control any better than Peyton Manning?
Yes, one guy has equally as much. A guy by the name of Rich Gannon.
Yes, he does.
I believe that Rich Gannon and Peyton Manning are two guys today in football that basically run the game from the field. 30 other places, I think coaches run it from the sidelines and from the box.
Third and less than a yard. And Manning is up to his old tricks again. Edgerrin James, first down.
You know, one of the things about Manning when talking to him yesterday that I really love what he said. He gets the play real quick from Tom Moore. He says, we're out of the huddle quick. He said, but the one thing that we try to do is not get to the perfect play. Just get to a good play. Just get to a play that we think is going to give us enough yardage to pick up the first down. It's nothing surprising about it. All we want to do is get to a good play.
He is a master of running the offense at the line of scrimmage. Tonight starting his 74th straight game, the longest streak at the beginning of a career in the history of the NFL for a quarterback. James off the left side for a couple. Swallowed up by Lionel Dalton.
Peyton Manning will probably go back in the huddle. One of the things he does that is very interesting, he knows where the clocks are on the field. What he'll do is he'll check the 25-second, 40-second clock, walk around, especially in stadiums he hasn't been in. And this is a new one for him, so he knows the clock's running down.
That's the end of the first quarter from Denver. The Colts 3, the Broncos nothing. Colts on top of the Broncos 3-0 as we start the second quarter. We were talking about Peyton Manning and his control of the offense. You mentioned Rich Gannon. He's been in the league forever. This is only Peyton Manning's 5th year, and he's done it since he was a rookie.
Yeah, but the thing about Peyton Manning, though, that he does is he studies 24 hours a day.
7 days a week. 7 days a week. That's the one thing you have to understand.
James on a little release. Al Wilson chases him down. Let's go to Susie.
Well, we know how hard Peyton studies. Well, he actually works on some of the same drills he did when he was a 12-year-old kid, like throwing from one knee. He said as quarterbacks get older, sometimes they lose their fundamentals. So we know how much he watches film of other teams. Well, he also watches film of himself. After every practice, there's a camera that's set up just looking at him. He watches that tape twice to make sure he's holding the ball in the right position. The fakes still look good. He doesn't want to lose any of those fundamentals.
Susie, if we were that good, we'd watch film of ourselves too.
I don't know if I want to see any film of myself.
I don't know if I want to see film of you either.
Yeah, that's right. I'll watch Manning instead. Throws this one away. Pretty close to not being out of the tackle box. And Trevor Price, who likened moving from tackle to end as getting out of jail, put the pressure on.
I want to show everybody. I want to bring your attention to something. I want to show you the old clock. That's the old 40-second clock. Watch the time that Manning breaks the huddle. You wonder how he can go through all the audibilization, recognizing defenses. What he basically does is he now is at the line with about 18 seconds, plenty of time to set his team up without feeling like he's hurried or rushed.
On 2nd and 10, James. What about the commitment the Colts are making tonight to run the ball against the best run defense in the NFL?
You'll notice where they're running. They're running it at the edges. They are not running it at the middle of this defense. They're not running it Lionel Dalton or Chester McLaughlin. We haven't even called Chester McLaughlin's name, and he's really been a big part of why this defense has become #1 against the run. I think this is just setting up some play-action passes down the road for Manning.
3rd and 9. Three-man rush. And Manning rifles a completion for another first down. That is a perfect throw, and he got it to Harrison.
Let me tell you something now. Marvin Harrison, it's his 3rd pass I think he's caught. 29 straight games. This guy's caught at least 3 passes in a game. 29. And look at where he throws this ball. Orange shirts all over except on Marvin Harrison.
Remember when the Raiders completed so many passes, Gannon did? The Broncos were dropping 8 and 9 into coverage.
3 catches on the night for Harrison, 92 on the year. James shook a tackle across the 45 to the 42.
That's the one thing about Edgerrin James that you must do. You must tackle this guy. If you've got him in a position, they've got him, look at here, almost in the loss area. And bang, they let go. He picks up 8 yards.
Ian Gold, number 52, coming across to make the play. He's running much better tonight than when we did the Washington game a month ago. I didn't think he ran very effectively in that game. He looks a lot sharper this evening.
Second and 4. Manning throws wide to the tight end Pollard. The Broncos, #1 in the league against the rush, allowing only 3.4 a carry. That's also #1. And they have allowed 1 100-yard back this year. That was Priest Holmes. And Priest Holmes seems to get 100 against anything.
Well, he had an off day today. Priest only had 197 today, although they lost.
3rd and 4. Second time the Colts have been in Denver territory. Manning with good protection and almost picked off. Delta O'Neal, a diving try, and couldn't hold it.
They're calling it a catch. They're saying that it did not hit the ground. It goes through Delta O'Neal's hands, bounces up in the air, and Marvin Harrison catches this. I'm not sure whether it's review. It does. It bounces up. Well, we can't see from that angle, but I'm sure we will from another.
Delta O'Neal just slaps it up in his right hand. Watch his right hand slap the ball up in the air. It's on his leg. Now watch. He slaps it up in the air.
It's a good catch.
Holy cow.
Marvin Harrison found 8 million ways to make the catch. Now, I believe that what the Broncos are going to do are going to challenge it and say it's incomplete, but Mike Shanahan's going to find out that's not the case.
Now, he's got to rely on the coaches upstairs who can see that replay and say, hey, challenge it or don't.
Well, there's one other thing. When Marvin Harrison has control, does he have control of the ball when he goes out of bounds? Take a look at Marvin Harrison. Forget about this part of it. We'll go back and look at that. That ball's up in the air. Now, here's the ball in his hand. 1, 2. Yes, he does.
Oh, sure.
Boy, is that something. He has enough presence of mind to stop. Watch his feet. This is unbelievable to watch a receiver. Now you know why Rod Smith said he's the best receiver in the league.
Now, I'm not sure.
Boom, boom, out of bounds. Isn't that perfect?
There is no replay. There was a malfunction of the buzzer system.
So Mike Shanahan has not challenged the play. And that's a good job between whomever he has upstairs in the box, looking at the replay, communicating down to Coach Shanahan and saying, look, it was a catch.
He also has an opportunity to see it a little bit later on the screen here in the stadium. And that replay was such a perfect angle. He could tell the ball never hit the ground.
That's just unbelievable that Marvin Harrison stays with it, even though it looks like Delph O'Neal has the interception.
First down, Colts. Manning throws underneath, and Reggie Wayne couldn't hold it. Marvin Harrison is averaging 6 catches a game. That is the best in NFL history, above even Jerry Rice and Sterling Sharp. Jerry Rice you would expect, and Sterling Sharp as a flex tight end is going to catch an awful lot of balls, but Harrison's on top of all of them.
Now he's averaging this year almost 9 a game.
The ball on the play fake, and has to cover up. Denver still has a shot at it and has it. Broncos football.
He faked the ball to Edgerrin James, and the ball came out.
Al Wilson covered it for Denver.
Here it comes. There's Edgerrin James. Now, is he supposed to take this? No. The ball comes out. Manning goes after it. He does the smart thing. He tries to get down on the ground, but the ball goes away. Denver finally ends up with the football.
Potential scoring drive. Peyton Manning with the fumble, and Tom Moore comes over to give him some consolation.
There's a ball. It's just like squeezing a banana out of a peel. It just slides out of his hands, and he can't catch it. And, you know, you got to remember, it plays a lot of games in a dome. Don't have to worry about the elements as much.
Denver starts from its 38 with Clinton Portis. And the rookie speedster takes it to the 45. Larry Triplett, the rookie for Indianapolis, made the tackle.
They told us yesterday, Rob Morris especially, the middle linebacker, number 94, that he said, well, our rush defense for this game, we are very confident. It's what they saw in practice. It worked. He said it worked. No mistakes were made.
I hate that. I hate when somebody sees something in practice and they think it works.
Yeah, it works.
2nd and 4. Over the middle, Rod Smith. And Smith out of bounds inside the 30. 27 yards on the play.
I'm always impressed, not just with the offense, the guys throwing and catching. Beuerlein does a good job here. But you have to look down the field. Rod Smith just clearing out. Look at the guys down the field. There he is. Manages to get away from Walt Harris. But now look ahead of him. There's Clinton Portis out blocking for his wide receiver. That's why this offense can spring big plays, because they get help down the field.
Beuerlein, little dump off, and Portis couldn't handle it. Had a nice screen set up, and Portis dropped the ball.
And that ball has got to be getting slick, because there's snow on the ground. Not a lot. It's cold. I'm holding it. I've been used to all year.
I found it fun. When a ball starts to get a little bit wet, the leather gets tacky. I always felt like I could handle a damp ball fairly well. Now, when it's raining like crazy, it's hard. Of course, sprinkling with these little tiny things, and I don't know why.
Well, throw in 20 degrees and a little snow, and that complicates it. Play action. Want another screen. Portis. Check it, it's Mike Anderson. Back-to-back screens. Check it again, it's Reuben Drones. They're throwing everybody at us.
Now, they've been running the ball fairly effectively. You run the play action up the middle. This is a good individual effort by Drones, really on like a one-man screen.
He's had 3 rushes this year and 3 receptions. They've reached the Colts 20. Toss to Portis.
Well,
Check in with Susie.
as as we told you off the top, Portis leads all rookie rushers, more than twice the total of the guy who's in second place. He's also been the toughest to tackle behind the line of scrimmage. He's lost yardage on just 6% of his carries. He plays with so much confidence. He knows what he's capable of. Mike, he doesn't think anyone can stop him.
And they wanted to bring him along slowly, and they did at the start of the year, not throw him into the fire. And he wanted to be thrown in right away. Portis again. And Rob Morris is right there to fill the hole, and you've got to be happy for Rob Morris. Former #1 draft choice who admitted that he wasn't up to the mental side of the pro game as a rookie. He was still chasing guys who had the ball, not necessarily going where he was supposed to. He took all the criticism like a man, showed a lot of class, and his game in the last 5 or 6 weeks has really stepped up.
I like the last time we asked him a question. He said, well, what do you think?
Nice guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's a great guy. You know, we're asking you, what do you think, Rob?
And he is becoming a real good middle linebacker. Beuerlein double pumps over the middle. Smith, touchdown. Steve Beuerlein with his 3rd touchdown pass in 2 games, and Denver takes the lead.
Shows me some veteran, man. Watch him patience. He waits, he pumps, he comes back. Rod Smith gets open. Watch how long he waits.
The reason why he waits is because the offensive line picked up the blitz and did an excellent job. We talked about how good they are at run blocking, Paul.
And that extra point by Elam hits the upright and kicks away. A missed extra point for Jason Elam, who had the NFL record, 371 in a row.
So, how was Florida?
Nice.
A lot of pretty girls on the beach?
Yep.
Probably wearing bikinis, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty girls in bikinis.
Right now, fly Southwest Airlines for just $39 to $99 each way when you purchase by December 12th. So get packing.
You are now free to move about the country.
Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Get the door, it's Domino's. Heineken, it's all about the beer. Heineken. Madden NFL 2003 from EA Sports. It's in the game. And new Campbell's Chunky Roasted Favorites, hearty soups that fill you up right. Jason Elam last missed an extra point in 1993 when he was a rookie. He had made 371 in a row, an NFL record. He has just missed the second of his career. Walters, deep. A lot of room. And taken down at the 27. We've got a timeout in Denver, 6-3 Broncos.
1954, Paul Bear Bryant put 115 football players through hell. But those who survived lived.
to become champions. The Junction Boys, Saturday, December 14th, 9 p.m. on ESPN.
So, you're looking for a gun shop where you can get everything you need in a friendly atmosphere? You're looking for Shooting World, Boise's only full-service gun store and indoor range. We can make your time at Shooting World one you'll always remember. Introducing Shooting World's new outdoor range. If it's clays you're interested in, we've got them. A 5-stand range with clays that fly from various directions and 2 skeet fields. Just look for the signs off South Cole Road, just south of Boise. Shooting World is located on Executive Drive, right between 5 Mile and Cloverdale in Boise. At Shooting World, if you're not having fun, go home.
Over 3 million tires in stock. The West's largest selection. Small car, large pickup, SUV, studded or studless. Where? Your Les Schwab Tire Center. All season tires starting at $19.95. Snow tires as low as $24.99. To save time and money, let us put them on snow wheels. For extra traction, ask about Quick Fit chain. Batteries, too, for cold winter starts. Les Schwab, winter at its worst. Can't match Les Schwab at its best.
Jeff, the used inventory at the Edmark Superstore is stacking up.
Tell me about it, Bill. With 0% financing and Dan Weeble's low prices, we've got a huge inventory of trades.
Hey, I got an idea.
Oh, no.
We take that huge inventory.
Where are you going with this?
And we have a giant used car sales event.
Where?
Right here. After all, we've got the best location, best selection, best prices, and best facilities.
You had me going there for a minute, Bill, but you're right. The best place to buy a used car or truck is at Dan Weeble Ford.
And the Edmark Superstore. Don't you hate those porta potties?
The veteran Steve Beuerlein doing the job for the injured Brian Greasy, gets his 3rd touchdown pass in 2 games, and now it's up to Peyton Manning to engineer the Colts. They're down 6-3 after the missed extra point. Edgerrin James lost his footing and lost a yard. Monday Night Countdown at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's the best place to get ready for Monday Night Football. And then on ABC at 9, it's the Monday night game. Deuce Staley and the Eagles against Terrell Owens and the 49ers.
Corey Detmer gets a chance to take over now. Donovan will probably be out about 6 weeks. But if they qualify for the playoffs, he should be about ready if they can get him in.
Manning dumps it to James. When they haven't used Edgerrin James as a running back, he's been very active as a receiver.
Well, what they're doing is they're play action or faking to him, and what's happening, the linebackers are holding, but they still get some depth. They're fast enough to do that. And watch what happens. Edgerrin James, when he comes out, look at the linebackers. They're way downfield. So when Edgerrin James gets the ball, I mean, he's got room to run.
On that particular play, that was, by the way, Edgerrin's 5th catch, Al Wilson doesn't even pay attention to the play-action fake. He is turned and gone 15 yards down the field.
Here we're getting another measurement. It really doesn't matter.
Edgerrin James with 65 yards in total offense so far. He's already run the ball 11 times and caught 5 passes. That's 16 touches in the first half, and we still have 7:27 to go.
Which is sort of amazing because the Colts really have one guy that catches the ball. Pollard's caught one, but dropped one. Wayne's dropped one. Ismail hasn't had a chance yet. You'd think that they could play closer to the line of scrimmage and not worry about the Colt receivers as much.
3rd down, the Colts have been very efficient so far. 6 out of 7 conversions on 3rd. James, they want to run for it. He dives, it will be close. John Mobley stopped him.
Ooh, I don't know.
He had to get to the 37-yard line. If that's over the 37-yard line, he's got it. He's got it.
Well, you're so good at that. I'm not going to question.
Well, it's these young eyes. I just bought them the other day. They're really nice.
Brand new. They look good, too.
Had them put in early.
And, you know, I really like the color of them. They're better than the other ones you have.
You like the blue one or the red one?
I like the red one.
Oh, the red one is good.
It's got a good touch.
This is a 1st down.
Well, I don't know, Paulo.
1st down. 1st down. What do you want? You questioning me?
I just didn't know. I just want to talk about Edgerrin James. Okay. He's having himself a decent night against the #1 rush team in football. But what they're doing is they're playing it a little bit like the Raiders did. Instead of trying to pound it all the time, they're throwing it out to him, and then they hit the edges. You'll notice not running it up the middle, staying on the edges, stay away from the big guys in the middle.
Peyton Manning, play fake. Hit as he throws, he's got it complete. It's Qadry Ismail. He's been out with a knee injury, and it's nice for Peyton Manning to have him back. It gives him Ismail, Wayne, and Harrison on the outside.
This is the play-action fakes we're talking about. What happens is you're going to see the play-action fake this way. Manning's going to come back and roll, and Ismail goes across the field. What they're doing is they're counting on the speed of the Denver Bronco linebackers to chase Edgerrin James. Now, all of a sudden, Ismail runs in behind the linebackers for a big gain.
Another first down for the Colts, who have moved the ball from the opening whistle. Manning lost that one and got it back. Peyton Manning just had it slip out of his hands for the second time tonight. One on an attempted play fake, that one on a pass.
You know, if I'm Peyton Manning, what I'm going to ask the officials to do, especially the umpire, is to bring a towel out and cover this ball. That ball is slick and it's coming out of his hand.
Well, you know what else you might consider is we saw Tom Brady do it last week. Go to a glove. Tom Brady played the first half of the game we did last week without a glove. Had trouble throwing the ball. Went to it the second half, had a better grip. Might be something for Peyton to consider.
2nd and 19. Underneath to Reggie Wayne. Ian Gold made the tackle. Reggie Wayne is really good in the slot, but when he started in the slot, he didn't like it. He said, boy, there was so much to learn. I'd much rather be on the outside, a little more comfortable, but now he understands the system.
Well, the other thing is it's the only way he was going to get on the field.
That's right.
Because you had Qadry Ismail on one side, you have Marvin Harrison on the other. You learn to like a place to get out on the field.
3rd and 14. Three-man rush. Manning, and it's dropped by Harrison. You will not see that very often.
Marvin Harrison is open. I mean, when I say open, he gets to the open spot. And Manning, take a look at where he throws this thing. Right in his hand. Look at his hand. I'll tell you, I can't ever remember seeing Marvin Harrison ever do that. Turn his head and not look at the ball into his body before he turned.
Hunter Smith with the game's first punt with only 4:33 to go in the half. Delta O'Neal drops back to the 10, high snap. And Smith hangs the punt way up there. Takes a Colts bounce inside the 5 to the 4 and down there. Brian Liggett downfield along with Cliff Crosby. A 40-yard punt down to the
4. Things haven't been the same since you came into my life. You found a way to touch my soul, and I'm never, ever, ever gonna let it go. Happiness lies in your own hand. It took me much too long to understand how it could be until you shared your
you find you're up to your waist in it. If being in it buys one more day on top of it, fill up the tub. Fill up the tub.
The Denver Broncos will start from their own 4-yard line, leading 6-3 so far. Manning is winning the quarterback comparison, but Beuerlein has the only touchdown of the night. Portis just trying to wedge out a little room. He's smashed by Larry Triple. More on Beuerlein. Here's Susie.
Mike, one of the advantages that Steve Beuerlein has against this Colts defense is, how do you get any film on the guy if he hasn't played in 2 years? He's one of the oldest guys on the film tonight. The Colts defense says they've only seen him in video games. Clinton Portis was just 5 years old when Steve Beuerlein made his debut in 1988. But Beuerlein points out there was more of a difference between he and Jim Plunkett when he came into the league than there is between he and Portis. Plunkett was 40 at the time.
And Susie, he can still play. Dumps it off to Carswell out near the 12-yard line. Have to reach the 14 for a first down. Mike Peterson covered him, and Jason Doring helped out.
From Indianapolis' standpoint, they've got to know that Beuerlein's really working into a fairly good breeze. So the play action sets up. You don't try and get the ball down the field very far. You dump it off underneath to Dwayne Carswell and let him do the work. If I'm Indianapolis defensively, I'm saying to myself, all right, I don't think he can fire the ball down the field 30, 40 yards. I think the weather conditions are that way, and the breeze is in his face. So I want to move a little bit closer to the receiver.
Olandis Gary comes in on 3rd down. And Beuerlein wants to throw for it, knocked away. Nice defensive play by Macklin, and then a flag comes in late.
Well, they're going to call Mike Peterson for unsportsmanlike conduct, I think. And Mike Peterson, all he was doing, he hits McCaffrey.
Number 27. Automatic first down.
I just saw Peterson just lay out McCaffrey. McCaffrey's coming off the field holding his arm. Here's Macklin. That's holding. That's right. And what's this? Well, that wasn't a big hit.
No, but Ed always finds somebody to hit him. Marvin Harrison gets to the ground. Rod Smith gets to the ground.
And Tony Dungy, the former defensive back, doesn't like the call. Automatic first down. Portis is back in. Beuerlein, short set. This one popped in the air. Caught by the Broncos. That's 2 of those.
Carswell.
Dwayne Carswell came across the middle. Walt Harris knocked the ball away. And Carswell is Johnny on the spot.
You know what you're looking? You're looking at heads-up football. You're talking about guys that are well coached, and these are not, I mean, drills you practice, a tip drill. But watch Carswell. What happens here? That ball goes up in the air, and he's so alert. He sees it. He just catches the ball and goes to the ground.
Goes right off of Ashley Lilly's chest.
Put that play in.
Portis. Ball's loose, still loose. And it looks like Denver has covered it. The ball is obviously slick tonight in these weather conditions.
Well, here comes Portis. That ball is out. There's no question about that being a fumble.
Now watch the safety come in. He comes in and tries to make a play on it. Bashir tries to make a play on it, and it just bounces off of him.
2:01 to go in the half. And it's very close to a first down. They needed to reach the 28, and that's where the ball is spotted. And it is a first down for Denver. Now, Joe, Beuerlein gets some work as a backup. How much work, well, I'll ask you this in a minute, how much work does he get in the 2-minute drill as a backup?
I'll answer in a minute.
For the extra point, and the win.
Snow.
All right.
Blizzard.
All right.
Get a choke? Oh, I guess not.
Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
Excellent design, quality craftsmanship, trusted name brand products, outstanding selection at an affordable price. At Franklin Building Supply, you can count on our trained professionals to do the quality workmanship you need. Call Franklin Building Supply to install your maintenance-free Owens Corning vinyl siding, hand railing, continuous gutter, or start saving with Owens Corning insulation. Dress up your home with a new garage door from Wayne Dalton, or have us install a new fence. Call us for an estimate today so you can start saving. Franklin Building Supply, where service is our specialty.
If you claim to be bigger, better, and faster, you've got to back it up. The Toyota Camry at your Northwest Toyota dealer backs up being #1 over and over again. Like Camry versus Accord. More room, goes further, holds more, with a longer warranty. Toyota Camry, the best-selling car 4 out of the past 5 years. And right now, get 0% financing for 36 months. Only at your Northwest Toyota dealer. Now at Peterson Autoplex in Boise. Get the feeling. Toyota.
So she says we're like two trees, and like my tree needs to grow more or something like that.
What is that? It's my Jack hat. So they think I'm Jack. It works. I just ordered a combo meal, and when I asked for seasoned curly fries instead of regular fries, I got them. No extra charge, because I'm Jack. Because of the hat.
Doofus, they're swapping curly fries for free for anyone. They don't think you're Jack.
And how come they gave me his paycheck?
Guess who I'm standing next to?
Coming up at the half, the Kia Halftime Show with Chris Berman, the fastest 3 minutes in television, our big sticks, and the Grey Cup. We think it's cold here. Coming up on the Kia Halftime Show.
This looks like a Grey Cup game.
Yes, it does. Portis. Larry Triplets had a heck of a game so far from that defensive right tackle spot for Indy.
Mike, to answer your question about how much time will Beuerlein get, Beuerlein gets about 25% of the snaps in practice. Mike Shanahan, as the year goes on, likes to get his backup an opportunity to get some work. So he really is arrested, but yet worked backup. At his age, you don't want to work his arm too much, but he's had a chance to run the drills and everything else. Brian gets about 75% of the work.
Well, you say he's rested for 2 years. Greasy after the nice play fake, or Beuerlein rather. And caught at the 38-yard line. The first catch of his career for tight end Jeff Putsier.
And we have a flag back here holding on Denver, so it's all coming back, boys.
Putsier makes a sensational catch, and the rookie from Boise State is denied.
Still doesn't have a catch.
No, he doesn't.
Dropped one last week, had a shot at it. They run the play-action fake again. They run the play-action fake and give Portier a chance to be able to run across the formation. Good weather for crossing formations. Number 88, tight end, goes to the corner. You see Rod Smith coming in. Look at this throw and catch.
He beat David Gibson, and Beuerlein put it on the money. Now 2nd and 17 after the penalty. Back to the ground with Portis. And you can sense Denver thinking right now, don't make the big mistake deep in your own territory.
I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to happen in this game. The Denver Broncos aren't going to be able to run the ball as much as they thought they would.
The Colts use a timeout and stop the clock at 101.
You ask me if there'll come a time when I grow tired of you. Never my love. Never my love. You wonder if this heart of mine will lose its desire. Something's coming up.
Introducing Dockers flat front mobile pant.
Nice pants. Hey, this one's different. It's not just a printer.
No, man, it's a scanner that prints.
It's a printer that copies. It's pretty easy. I'll say.
The new Print Trio from Lexmark. Prints, copies, scans, all for $149. Lexmark. Passion for printing ideas.
There's an easier way to get the gear the pros wear. Call 877-NFL-SHOP for your free team catalog.
With 1:01 to go, first half of play.
Well, the reason I said that I think Denver will be able to run the ball as much tonight as they thought they could is because this Colt defensive line and linebackers, all they're doing is just flowing with the offensive line, and they're all staying in their lanes.
3rd and 13. Beuerlein, short set, quick pass. He's got it complete. And a flag is down. Ashley Lilly, the young man from Hawaii, going without sleeves. What does he think?
Offensive pass interference on Ashley Lilly.
Boy, you hardly ever see this called on a wide receiver in this league. He's up top. He's up against David Macklin. Oh, that's a bad call.
Boy, it sure is.
Terrible. He did not extend his arms to gain space away. They locked up into one another. I mean, Macklin had his arms equal length as Lilly's. That's a bad call.
Joe, the thing about it is that Macklin, he knows he can hit the receiver within 5 yards. So what is Ashley Lilly supposed to do? Let him hold him for 5 yards?
Oh, yeah. Here's my chest. Put your hands on it, and I'll run with mine straight out.
I think that's a terrible call.
That's a horrible call.
He certainly did not push off to get space. Now it's 3rd and 23.
Denver's, Indianapolis still has 2 timeouts.
Empty backfield as Gary goes in motion. Beuerlein underneath. Rod Smith gets to the 25, and that will bring on the punting team. And Indianapolis uses its 2nd timeout. Next Sunday night at 7:30, join Chris Berman and Tom Jackson for NFL Primetime, and then stay with us because Warren Sapp and the Bucs go to New Orleans to take on Aaron Brooks and the Saints on ESPN. Sunday Night Football at 8:30. That one is going to be a beauty.
They took care of Green Bay today, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And how about the Cleveland Browns beating the Saints in New Orleans? Aaron Brooks had a real tough time when he got in the red area, which he really suffered last year. Was a problem for him. A couple interceptions thrown down there. Ball gets away from him. This is the way the NFC South is shaping up. Everybody thought Tampa would run away with it, and they're pretty strong. Atlanta and Michael Vick. What a... Michael Vick could be, if they continue to do this, he could be MVP of the league the way he's playing.
He's had a whale of a year.
New Orleans is at 7-4.
Tampa with the best record in football.
Yeah, Michael Vick is probably a quarterback faster than any running back in the National Football League.
Micah Noor, the new punter who replaced Tom Ruin, is on to kick to Walters.
Ooh, bad kick. Bad.
And Walters, dangerous, took it on the second bounce and then lost the football. Mike Anderson on special teams hit him. And it looked like Ian Gold got the recovery. What a mistake by Walters.
Walters missed it, but Lenny Walls, the rookie from Boston College, watch number 35 come in. He's gone. He is gone. Whoa, I thought I was gone. No, I'm not. And then Ian Gold comes in and picks it up. Now, both of those timeouts that Indianapolis called to try and gain field position will now work against them. Denver has 2 now.
Well, you don't expect your punt returner to make a mistake like that.
Mental errors will kill you. And that was a mental error.
Big break for Denver. Can they take advantage?
You've got to think that Rod Smith becomes a primary target down in this area.
Beuerlein tipped. and incomplete.
I don't know if Ed McCaffrey would have been able to catch it anyway. Beuerlein, you want to talk about a rifle. I mean, he fired this thing in. Ed McCaffrey's coming across the middle. Beuerlein said, sorry. Watch this throw. You think he could have caught this? Here it comes. Bing.
That's behind him.
Yeah, behind. High.
If nothing else, he's got a stubbed finger on his left hand.
30 seconds on the clock. 2nd and 10 for Denver. Colts show blitz and come with it, and it's a wide receiver screen, incomplete to Portis. Well, they picked a good play to call against the blitz, but it didn't work. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, obviously the conditions down here are pretty bad. Wind, the snow is fairly heavy, and the field very slick. But nobody, at least here on the Broncos sideline, and they certainly know what they're doing in the snow, have bothered to change their cleats. They came out with 5/8, the biggest they can go in 3/4. They might make some changes at the half, but right now, staying as is.
Susie, actually, it's pretty nice up here in the booth.
I'll tell you, we have an all-time first of record. Susie wearing a hat for the very first time in her life.
3rd and 10, they blitz again. Beuerlein hit by Morris, and Morris picks up the sack, his 5th of the year. Lionel Dalton was the first guy, though, to put the pressure on, and Morris comes through and got the sack.
4th down.
Stop the clock with 9 seconds left.
Indy took their final timeout.
Well, what they're looking for is an opportunity for a punt block. Why not? The weather conditions are bad. Maybe the ball's a high snap. Who knows?
Well, if I'm Denver, I run a play. I don't punt it.
The Broncos and the Packers squared off in a colossal blizzard back in 1984. Green Bay fumbled on their first 2 plays from scrimmage, and each time the Broncos recovered and returned the fumble for a touchdown. The only time that's ever happened. And then Denver hung on to win 17-14. That was Tom Jackson doing his victory sprint across the snowy field.
Did you see how fast Tom Jackson was then?
Let me tell you, Tom Jackson was... he was a part of what I think was the best linebacking core. He, Randy Gradishar, those guys were unbelievable. Of course, Gradishar, in my opinion, is one of those guys that belongs in the Hall of Fame. Not too many Broncos have had that privilege and that great honor bestowed on, but certainly Randy Gradishar, in my opinion, ranks right up there with the great linebackers that have played this game.
That Orange Crush defense was spectacular.
And they're going to run the ball here on 4th down. There's 9 seconds left to go. If they can spot everything, the Colts won't get any time.
Olandis Gary. 2 seconds, they'll stop the clock there, and the Colts would have a chance for a Hail Mary if they want to try it.
Peyton Manning was leaving the field. He's got his coat on, and he was gone. Whoop, he's got to come back now.
Come back, take a snap, and then you can go.
Peyton was almost in the locker room.
I don't blame him.
He was surprised that they didn't.
Well, take a knee and go home.
Time for one play. Harrison with 4 catches tonight. It is not a good sign for the Colts that they're probably going to be down going into the locker room. They've lost the last 16 games when they're behind at the half. That is the longest streak in the NFL.
Certainly handling the football in the second half will be a premium.
Let's go to Susie with Mike Shanahan.
Mike, the Colts going with a lot of that short stuff, but are you fairly satisfied with the way your defense has stood up?
Well, initially we gave up a couple 3rd downs, I think 3 in a row, but the conditions right now are pretty tough. So ball control, not turning over, I think will be the key to the game.
I'm going to show you this Steve Beuerlein touchdown to Rod Smith. How impressed are you with Steve?
Well, Steve did a good job stepping up in the pocket, giving Rod a chance to come across the formation. He's a veteran player. I'm glad we got him.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Susie. Our score here at Invesco Field, 6-3 Broncos. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Kia halftime show.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Certainly the holiday spirit upon us with a little snowfall in the Rockies. Second half should be humorous out there. We have the game of the day between the 2 best teams record-wise, 8-2. Green Bay at 8-2. Tampa Bay, the Bay of Pigs, we used to call this. That'll be in a moment. But all eyes were in Washington in Week 12 on Kurt Warner. How would he do back at the helm for the St. Louis Rams, who won 5 in a row with Mark Bolger? Well, first off, Washington ran it 39 times. Stephen Davis had 3 touchdowns. Kurt Warner to Ricky Prohl trying to get the Rams back. They're down 20-17 with 17 seconds to go. 1 shot for the end zone, then the field goal, but forget it. LeVar Arrington with the hit. Darryl Gardner recovers. Skins beat the Rams 20-17. Showdown between San Diego and Miami didn't prove to be one. Ricky Williams, 2 touchdowns. Miami rolling again. They beat San Diego 30-3. San Diego hasn't won there in Miami at all since the Kellen Winslow game in the playoffs, 81. Big start for the Patriots against the Vikings. Tom Brady to Christian Euphoria twice. 21-0 lead. They held on to win 24-17. The champs, 6-5 going into their Thanksgiving game. Curtis, my favorite Martin, helped the Jets to a big lead over Buffalo. In a battle of 5-5 teams, Chad Pennington, whoop! Fakes out Eddie Robinson. Jets won 4 in a row. They win 31-13. Cordell Stewart back. Tommy Maddox in uniform on the sidelines. Good sight for Pittsburgh. So was a 17-0 early lead against the Bengals. But the Steelers squandered that. That's Cordell Stewart, the Heinz Ward touchdown. Jerome Bettis with his Bruno Mali cleats passed O.J. Simpson on the all-time rushing list. 29-21, the Steelers win. Dennis Northcutt has been one of the most impressive players this year. Cleveland uses him all over. That was a handoff to the wide receiver. And when Aaron Brooks is picked off for 3 times by the Cleveland Browns, Cleveland's going into New Orleans and upset the Saints 24-15 to stay a half a game behind Pittsburgh. Deion Carpenter, key to an Atlanta defensive surge, which has now beaten Carolina 71-0 in their sweep this year. Look at Michael Vick. How does he do it? Dewar done. Falcons unbeaten last 7. They're red hot. 41-0 in Carolina. Speaking of red hot, Rich Gannon and the obliterating Gannon. He could be on pace to surpass Dan Marino's 5,000-yard season. Jerry Rice, another 100-yard game. Raiders beat Arizona 41-20. Priest Holmes caught balls for 110 yards for Kansas City in Seattle. Priest Holmes ran for 197 on a 300-yard day for him and 3 touchdowns. But career high for Matt Hasselbeck at quarterback. Sean Alexander touchdown. Seahawks beat the Chiefs 39-32. Ed Reed, the rookie. The block, the recovery, and touchdown. The hat trick. Ravens have the Titans number and their 5-game winning streak 13-12. Chad Hutchinson, Joey Galloway. Dallas beats Jacksonville 21-19. The New York Football Giants shocked by expansion Houston. Gary Collins to well-dressed Amani Toomer, touchdown. Giants led. Oh, an ex-Steeler now good. Chris Brown at a 50-yard field goal. Collins picked late. The Texans win 16-14. How about this on 4th and 20? Jim Miller falls, but gets up and heaves to Des Way 33 yards. We go to overtime. The Lions win the toss, give the ball to the Bears, and essentially give them the game. Edgerrin field goal 40 yards. The Bears at OT snap. An 8-game losing streak, 20-17.
This halftime show is presented by Kia and the all-new Sorrento SUV. Kia, make every mile count.
When we return, our game of the day, 8-2, Brett Favre and the Pack against Warren Sapp of the 8-2 Bucks, and the Grey Cup, the CFL Championship game.
What if the new Kia Sorrento was in a race against the other SUVs? Who would win? The little ones would be left in the dust. Some just too honking huge. Others would be afraid of getting dirty. And the rest, they'd be distracted by the wads of cash we save. The midsize Sorrento with a 10-year warranty won this unbiased race. After all, it is our commercial. The new Kia Sorrento. Make every mile count.
People ask you, why do you put yourself in the military where you can be in harm's way? Like, a helicopter coming down with injured or a few dead bodies. And we realize, like, whoa, we're not in Los Angeles. We're in a hostile environment. It's for my mother. She actually delivers the mail, and she supported 3 children.
He told me that the reason he enlisted is because he wanted to go save the world. So that's why I made this sign for him. So I'm telling him right now, Anthony, go save the world.
Ice. It starts out under your feet. Puddle to pond to rink. Then one day, you find you're up to your waist in it. If being in it buys one more day on top of it, fill up the tub. Fill up the tub.
Welcome back to the Kia Halftime Show with your host, Chris Berman.
Broncos lead the Colts 6-3 in snowy Denver. The teams with the best records in the NFL, the Pack and Bucs. No longer division rivals. They faced off at a place Brett Favre has never won. The new sombrero. He's 0-4 in there. And exchanging pleasantries with his longtime rival Warren Sapp. Brad Johnson, Buccaneer quarterback, poked in the eye early, had to leave. Rob Johnson came in. They thought about playing Sean King, but Johnson would eventually return. Meanwhile, the Pack led early on a Favre touchdown pass, now at 7-6, but Reggie Kelly makes the interception. And on the play, Warren Sapp lays out, fine tackle for the Packers, Chad Clifton. And you'll see the play right here. Clifton would leave the game on a stretcher. More on that later. The Bucs have now forged ahead 14-7. As Brad Johnson comes back in and throwing touchdown passes, Rondé Barber playing with a broken finger makes a pick. Dexter Jackson gets in the action 4 times. The Bucs picked off Brett Favre. On this play, Jackson figures he could go all the way, but number 4, Favre, knocks him out at the 4. Favre and Sapp talk about it, but then afterwards, here comes Brad Johnson to Kent Gilger, 21-7. The Buccaneers are 9-2 with the best record in football. Mike Sherman takes exception to the way Warren Sapp made the play. The two joust and talk about it afterwards. Joust verbally.
I just went up to Warren and told him that I didn't appreciate the lick that he put on Clifton, and that was the extent of it, and the joviality that existed after the guy's laying on the ground with numbness in his legs and his fingers. I just thought that wasn't appropriate for any NFL player.
I didn't instigate a thing. I went out there and played 60 minutes of football. I'm walking off the field, all of a sudden I look over and I'm surrounded by green and orange. To say this, he's lucky I'm not 25 without kids in the conscience.
Well, you hate to see that. Two teams that could be facing off against each other again in the playoffs. Hey, we'll see the team with the best record in football, the 9-2 Bucs, at New Orleans. The Saints beat them in Tampa opening week. So the Saints, who fall into third, still very much alive in the playoffs. That's next Sunday night, Bucs, Saints, 8:30 Eastern, following NFL prime time. For the 90th time, the Mounties rolled out the Grey Cup. And at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, it was Anthony Calvillo for the Montreal Alouettes to Pat Woodcock. Il pouvait d'aller tout la distance. He couldn't go all the way. 99-yard touchdown. Alouettes lead it. 18-16. Edmonton has just scored. Final seconds onside kick. Jermaine Copeland. Il pouvait aller tout la distance for the first time since 1977. Les Alouettes win the Grey Cup, 25-16. Alouette gentil, I can't help myself. Broncos 6-3 over the Colts at the half. We'll be back.
Watch Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, delivered by UPS.
What if the new Kia Sorento was in a race against the other SUVs? Who would win? The little ones would be left in the dust. Some just too honking huge. Others would be afraid of getting dirty. And the rest, they'd be distracted by the wads of cash we save. The midsize Sorento with a 10-year warranty won this unbiased race. After all, it is our commercial. The new Kia Sorento. Make every mile count.
This halftime show is presented by Kia and the all-new Sorento SUV. Kia, make every mile count.
As we do at halftime, cannot think Orange Crush defense without Lyle Alzado, the defensive end who excelled for so long at Mile High Stadium, sacking quarterbacks left and right, a teammate of our Tommy Jackson. Later on, played for Cleveland and the the Raiders win. As a member of the LA Raiders, he won his Super Bowl ring and was one of the most emotional players, the late Lyle Alzado. Today's big hits. Victor Green of the Patriots said hello to Randy Moss. Brian Kelly and the Bucs drilled Terry Glenn. Of course, the Bucs D, the stingiest in football. Brant Boyer with the big hit for Cleveland as they beat New Orleans over Jerome Payton. By the way, you know, the Schwam picked the Alouettes over the Edmonton Eskimos in the Grey Cup. 6-3 in Grey Cup-like conditions. Denver over Indy at the half.
Hey, man, what are we going to do? The game's on the line. All right, hook and lateral. Ready? Break!
They're at midfield with seconds on the clock. If they complete a pass, I don't think they can get it out of bounds and stop the clock. Whoa! Look at this! What a play! Oh, baby, that's classic!
Now this is a classic. It's all yours.
Nah, I got my own.
The size you want, the team you want. Get your own Gridiron Classic available at NFL Shop on NFL.com.
When you call your Bryant dealer, he'll be there. So whenever you need help with your heating, wherever you need it, your Bryant dealer will get it to you, whatever it takes.
Great place.
Well, thanks.
YMC Heating and Cooling has served the Treasure Valley for over 30 years. Residential to commercial. They do it all, whatever it takes.
Ever wish you could get exactly what you want? Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Hundreds of styles, thousands of fabrics, and more choices than you can imagine. At Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries, you'll find leather to fit any personality, all at special savings.
Oh, no, not again.
Sometimes you want to be in hot water. It's why we have Grover's. They'll show you how to stop the leaks, and with a new water heater, put you back in hot water. Grover's Electric and Plumbing Supply. It's worth the drive.
Winter has arrived in the Mile High City, and Peyton Manning is the worst for it. 2 first-half fumbles, 1 on a fake handoff, 1 on a pass. Denver has the lone touchdown and a slim 6-3 lead. Moments ago, Susie Culver caught up with Tony Dungy.
Tony, they're doing a good job against your offense. How do you get Peyton company going?
Well, we're actually going well. We just got to hang on to the ball. We've had a couple of fumbles that have killed drives, so we just got to handle the ball well in the second half.
How about stopping Steve Beuerlein?
Steve's had a good day. They're throwing the short in routes, and we've got to do a better job of that, maybe mix a little more zone in there in the second half.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Susie. 6-3 as we start the third quarter. Reuben Drones waits at the 3-yard line. Vanderjack to kick it away for the Colts. Drones on the run from the 13. Across the 30. First half, a defensive ball game. Obviously, the conditions are going to play a part in this. You raised the question about Peyton Manning wearing a glove. He's not going to, is he?
No, he doesn't. I mean, that's not what he does. I really think the biggest thing he has to be concerned with is sticking the ball out there in play action. We already saw one squirt out. I think that's a concern of his.
Well, Bill Polian came up to the booth at halftime, and I asked him would he use a glove. He said he never has used a glove, and he will not do it now.
As meticulous as he is, you wouldn't think if he had not practiced with one that he would wear one in a game. Portis cuts it outside, barely tripped up, now a flag down. As Portis dives to the 42, could have been a hold on the outside. And it is.
Holding, number 87, offense. 10-yard penalty, First down.
Ed McCaffrey, the wide receiver, and this team is known for its excellent downfield blocking by its wide receivers. That time they got McCaffrey with a hold instead.
Coaches never will agree.
Oh, never. It's a spot foul, so it's 1st and 14. Drones and Anderson, their big backfield. And Anderson will get the carry. Boy, nice job by Morris. He just flew across the formation to make a tackle. Here's our game track. Peyton Manning lost 1 fumble. He's thrown for 111 yards in the first half in the snow. And Marvin Harrison, 4 catches, 93 on the season. But Steve Beuerlein had the only touchdown pass of the half. Also threw a pick. And Denver has a 3-point lead.
And in this weather here, you don't stop throwing the ball. Throw it up.
I think you have an advantage. You don't want long yardages, but I think you have an advantage throwing the football because you know where you want to go, and the defense doesn't.
Colts jump offside. Free play for Beuerlein. Over the middle, McCaffrey. Midfield. Out of bounds, shy of the 40.
Oh, man. I'll tell you, this is such a great play. But Rob Smith makes a sensational block at the end of this play. Here comes McCaffrey. Now watch who's going to appear into this picture is number 80. Right there, he gets 2 guys on a block. Here he comes, number 80, Rob Smith. Watch this. Bang, bang.
Gets Bashir and Walt Harris.
Isn't that great?
You said he would appear in the picture, and then Bashir disappeared. And Bashir is the injured Colt. 13:40 to go, 3rd quarter. Denver in Indianapolis territory.
Listen, this deal sounds too good to be true. Are you trying to set us up? We've made some deals before, but this can't be legal. A big and tasty for just $1.
The McDonald's Dollar Menu. Lots of choices, $1 each every day, including sandwiches like the Tender Big and Tasty or Juicy McChicken. Turn your dollar into something tasty.
Is this some kind of racket?
Hello, Moto.
I'm gonna play someday. I'm gonna play someday. Play someday. I'm gonna play someday. I'm gonna play someday. I'm gonna show you what I really got. I'm gonna play someday.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
ESPN Sunday Night Football brought to you by Motorola, bringing intelligence everywhere. Hello, Moto. Mazda. Log on to Enhanced TV at ESPN.com for a chance to win a Mazda 6 sports sedan and other great prizes. And McDonald's. You know, you think of Denver being in the West, but they're only 350 miles west of the center of the United States.
Yeah, where it's snowing.
Yes, it is.
It's snowing 350 miles west of the center.
Beuerlein with time, and a diving catch made it to 25.
Scotty
Montgomery with only his 4th catch of the year.
Steve Beuerlein, like Peyton Manning, very effective from the pocket, uses play action. Scotty Montgomery working against Walt Harris. Obviously, Harris can't jump anything because of the field conditions. Montgomery goes down for the ball. Nice spiral. I love quarterbacks that throw spirals. I mean, to me, that is such a key to accuracy, being able to throw a spiral.
Aren't they supposed to?
Well, yeah, but a lot of them don't.
Split backfield on first down from the 20. And Drones. Tough run down near the 10. Reuben Drones, the 3-year man from Oregon.
The Denver Broncos offensively have built their line on the ability, and Paul, you alluded to it before. They really keep stretching you to the sidelines. They want to take you out to the sidelines, and a real staple of what they do is get you going and then cut back. You're not going to be able to cut back on this field. And what we've seen the Broncos do is once they decide to try and take it outside, the backs are just hitting it hard with all the speed they can to get to the corner.
Well, you saw a nice block by Steve Herndon, who pulled out at 305 pounds. Portis is back in there, breaks a tackle. Portis, touchdown.
Indianapolis Colts told us yesterday, if they all don't get to the spot they're supposed to be in, there's a breakdown. Watch what happens right here. There is a breakdown. Gibson doesn't get where he's supposed to be. He's a safety. The hole is open. Portis scores a touchdown.
And now Jason Elam, who missed his first extra point since 1993 on the first score, will try to start a new streak, and they'll whistle the play dead.
Prior to the snap, false start, 86, offense. 5-yard penalty. We'll retry.
Patrick Hape flagged for motion. And now Elam is going to have to clear another space on this field, which is rapidly becoming covered with snow. It's a 25-yard point after. And Elam is true on this one. Clinton Portis with the big run of the night for the touchdown.
If it wasn't for football on Thanksgiving, the only competition would be over the wishbone.
Ow!
That's okay. Kickers don't need arms.
Domino's is boldly taking chicken where no chicken has gone before and delivering it right to your door. Introducing Domino's Pizza Buffalo Chicken Kickers. Tender cuts of all-white chicken breast with a kick of buffalo flavor baked right in. 10 pieces for $5.99.
Don't eat with your elbows on the table.
Get the door and get a kick out of dinner tonight. Get an order of Cinesticks free when you buy a large one-topping pizza for $9.99.
Nobody does it exactly like hers when it's got to be someone who thinks of you first.
Now is the time to save with Hertz Car Sales with our fall savings event of the year. A great selection of fleet vehicles are arriving daily, and we're passing the savings on to you with interest rates as low as 4.8% and no payments until January 2003. Hurry into Hertz Car Sales.
Nobody does it exactly like hers.
Best overall value of the year. Toyota trucks at your Northwest Toyota dealer. Tundra. Highest overall safety rating for full-size pickup. Tacoma. Most payload in its class. Best trucks in initial quality. Tundra. Tacoma. Toyota. The new American standard for trucks. Right now, get 0% financing for 36 months on any Tundra or Tacoma. Only at your Northwest Toyota dealer. Now at Peterson Autoplex in Boise. Get the feeling, Toyota.
The Broncos at full gallop in the last drive, and Portis went the last 10 yards to take a 13-3 lead. It is cold in Denver.
And you can bet it's not a favorite time of year for Clinton Portis. He likes warm weather.
Walters from the 6. Near the 30. Dragged down from behind by Willie Middlebrooks. And there are markers down. And this will push the Colts back.
54 of the receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Donnell Thompson called for the hold. So the Colts push back to their own 20. Peyton Manning finds his Colts offense down by 10. We're in the third quarter from Denver.
I don't follow instructions very well. I can't turn things on. I can't find the buttons. I like to get in and do things and see what happens. And I like to noodle with things. My G4 allows that to happen. It's beautiful, sleek. I wanted to touch it. For someone that is that technically challenged, I think that was my way in. Macs are friendly to people like me. I'm Yo-Yo Ma, and I play the cello.
Come on, man, do it.
Wait, an electric dog collar? I will never do that. No.
It really doesn't hurt. We'll tell everyone you did it.
Oh, great.
Life is best told over a great tasting Miller Lite at a place called Miller Time.
You sure it's off?
I promise you, it's don't you worry.
In 1954, Paul Bear Bryant put 115 football players through hell. But those who survived lived to become champions. The Junction Boys, Saturday, December 14th, 9 p.m. on ESPN.
The conditions tonight have certainly played a part in this game. Marvin Harrison with a drop, Walters with a bad decision, and then a muff on the fumble. Bashir couldn't recover that one. Manning has dropped 2. Colts start from the 20. And another drop. Right in the hands of Joe Dean Davenport, who's been out since the 3rd game with a bad shoulder, and Manning hit him right on the numbers.
Well, you know, look at Manning's looking at him, and he said, you know, I can't throw the ball any better than this, and the ball hits you right in the chest. This is the second time we've seen he took his eyes off the ball. You've got to look at it. In his conditions, you have no margin for error.
Well, the other thing is you're wearing sleeves, so you don't have the same feel as not having those long sleeves have the ball slide through.
5 drops for the Colts on offense. James nowhere to go as Mobley plugged it up, and Gold made the tackle along with Wilson. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, how about a little check on how the 2 running back buddies have stacked up against each other tonight? The same number of attempts. Portis has the edge in rushing yards, but James has been a big part of the passing game. You know, when Portis considered coming out early out of the University of Miami, the first guy he called was Edgerrin James. He still calls him every week for advice.
Imagine the second guy he called was his agent. 4 wide receivers for the Colts. Price putting on the pressure, and the pass caught by Harrison up at the 33-yard line. The 5th catch of the night for Marvin Harrison. He's closing in on that 100 mark for the year.
You know something else, Michael, when you look at him, Marvin Harrison, he never or rarely takes a hit. Watch this catch down. I mean, he knows where the first down marker is. He catches the ball. You don't get a hit on him.
As opposed to Ed McCaffrey, who has, like Mike mentioned, should be wearing a big bullseye. Everybody hits him.
Big 3rd down conversion for the Colts there to keep the drive going. James. Big hole up the middle, and Edgerrin James tiptoes to the 46.
You know, obviously, you know, they can cut back a little bit because he stops. He actually almost stopped, and then he cut back to his right.
You're right, Paul. He doesn't necessarily, you see, he doesn't really cut back. He just sort of lets his offensive line move everybody out of the way and really go straight up the field. Now, this field is heated underneath, so the coils are underneath, keeping the field so it doesn't freeze, and pretty good footing.
Manning with time gets it out to Davenport. He's to the Denver 45. So what you're saying is the field might not freeze, but the players could.
They probably are a little chilly right now, but the field, I think you'll be able to get your spikes in it and should be able to cut fairly well.
You just saw Davenport. He was going to be an integral part of this offense. They let Ken Dilger go, and Marcus Pollard was the receiver. But without Davenport out injured, Pollard's had to do more blocking and hasn't been involved in the pass offense for Tom Moore.
And there you saw Tom Moore, who has had a lot of great receivers that he's coached.
James. He just swallowed up by Monsanto Pope, the rookie from Virginia, a 7th-round draft choice.
Talking about Tom Moore, he has Marvin Harrison here in Indianapolis, Herman Moore in Detroit when he had the record-setting years. Tom Moore was the coordinators. Of course, in Pittsburgh, you had John Stallworth and Lynn Swann. Had a couple there. Minnesota, Chris Carter, Anthony Carter. I mean, and the thing about him, it isn't the fact that he's had talent like Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. He really gets a lot out of him. He knows how to utilize those guys and what they do very well.
It's one of the reasons Tony Dungy kept Tom Moore as the offensive coordinator. His track record of success and the fact that Dungy has known him for a long time. And we asked Peyton Manning about his relationship with Tom Moore and how it affects what he does on the field.
Before every game, Tom, he kind of tells me what he wants to start the game with, what he's thinking, but he always says, hey, Peyton, if you see something out there, go with it and don't think twice about it. And I love that relationship with him. I've made some good calls, and he said, good job, and I've made some bad calls, and he's never, said, hey, what'd you do that for?
Not very many bad calls on the part of Peyton Manning. 3rd and inches, and James lowers his shoulder and gets the first down for the Colts.
When was the last time that Peyton Manning ran a quarterback sneak? College?
He's big enough to do it.
I know he's big enough, but
but he's also smart enough not to do it. And I think this is a terrific place on the field for some type of if you like a gadget play, this is the perfect spot to call it, or else take it up the field somehow.
Go in the middle of the field.
Play action by Manning. Has time deep over the middle and incomplete. Intended for Pollard, and Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, who has tremendous speed for a big guy who was covering.
It's a good opportunity, good place on the field to take a shot, and that's exactly what the Colts did. You run a little play action to try and hold the backers. What you do is you run the play action up the middle, and then you see if you can get Pollard right down against the linebacker. Hard to see a little bit because of the snow on the field, but you get the general gist. There's the play action. Terrific job by Al Wilson. He has been bailing out to the middle of the field a lot tonight.
2nd and 10 for Peyton Manning. Three-man rush. All day to look, throws deep, incomplete. Intended for Ismail, threw it into double coverage. The safety came over to help. Denard Walker and Izell Reese back there together.
If you're holding the ball that long to try and throw it up the field, you're going to give safeties an opportunity to be able to make a play. One of the other things, too, is Peyton Manning very seldom stares down where he wants to go. It's a half roll. Now watch as he looks back. He just stays all the way to the left. Normally he tries to look a safety off. He just stayed with the receiver all the way on that.
3rd down and 10. Manning over the middle. Harrison with a catch at the 22.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Al Wilson almost played this thing perfectly. And you want to talk about a perfect pass. Watch this throw. And number 56 for the Denver Broncos, the linebacker, watch where he is. He's right in front. They got him from behind, and the pass can't be any better. Here comes Al Wilson. Look at this. He knows that Marvin Harrison is coming across the middle. How close can you cover?
Evidently not close enough.
Another big 3rd down conversion for the Colts. They've done it all night. Still, they have only 3 points. Blitz coming, and James slashes it. Edgerrin James and Kenoy Kennedy comes up and just rips him. Kennedy, one of the hardest hitters around. Boy, just fearless. He'll go after anybody.
Well, watch him. He catches him right here. Edgerrin James turns, bang! You're talking about a running start from about 12 yards.
Didn't even see him coming.
No, I'll tell you what. Edgerrin James holding on to that ball. That's incredible.
Oh, when you hear those pads click like that.
Well, I think,
no, those were teeth. Those were teeth.
Wasn't Kenoy Kennedy the one that hit Chris Chambers in the Miami game? Put him out.
Manning looks left, throws back right to Harrison. He's got the catch at the 12. Finally, somebody touches him.
Mike, I talked about Marvin Harrison. And when you watch this coming up, watch how many hits he takes. Marvin Harrison to the outside, short, no hit. Marvin Harrison inside, down, no hit. Marvin Harrison back to the outside, watch it, boom, up in the air, no hit. And here's another one. Marvin Harrison catches the ball, down. You know, you'll never get hurt doing that.
And that's why I think he can play a long, long time. He just doesn't take the physical punishment other receivers do.
And there is a timeout been called by the Denver defense, as Peyton Manning has engineered a very good drive until now, as they have reached the Denver 12-yard line. And Kennedy looks like he has a nosebleed.
He lost his helmet on the tackle. That, I'll tell you, Kenoy Kennedy is one tough guy.
Well, as cold as it is, it ought to coagulate quickly.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, put your face in the snow.
Manning changed the play, gives it to James. Trevor Price right there to wrap him up. Trevor Price is on the way to the Pro Bowl again. He's been there 3 straight years as a tackle. Now one of the best ends in the league.
He's playing defensive end, and look at the stunt move they have. Chester McLaughlin goes outside. Trevor Price comes inside. Edgerrin James loses a yard.
I think that's as good as a sack. I mean, I know he has 8.5 sacks, but to me, that kind of a play is as good as a sack.
Harrison. Between the 7 and the 8, Ian Gold made the tackle. 8 catches for Harrison. He's up to 97. The league leader in catches, the league leader in yards. Here's how he compares with Jerry Rice. Only 818 catches behind. Of course, this is only his 7th season. And Jerry Rice has played since the football was shaped this way.
And he's still playing.
And he's still playing. He's still doing it. Another huge 3rd down for the Colts. James. What a nice call by Peyton Manning. Got him down near the goal line. It will be 1st and goal.
It's the same thing we talked about earlier in the first half. 3rd down and 5s, obvious passing situations. These are audibles by Peyton Manning. This is what they do. Spread him out and let him pick and choose where he wants Edge to go.
And you don't see teams running it on 3rd long anymore, ever, unless it's a draw.
Because the coach is in charge of calling it, not the guy on the field that can see the defense better.
2 tight ends into block. Jim Finn, 36, the blocking back.
And he is not going to ever get the ball.
Mungro gets his first carry of the night. They say he stopped short. Mungro ended up in the end zone.
This is a horrible call.
Wait a minute.
This is a horrible call by this official.
I would have, I tell you what, you can look at this thing.
No, because they'll say the whistle blew, Paul. It wouldn't make any sense. But this is a bad call.
Does the ball cross the line?
Yeah.
Yes.
Once. Now here. Now it's across it again.
Here comes Mungro. Watch this. Is the ball over? Yes, the ball is over.
I mean, that is...
Oh, that is some call.
I don't know how you can mark the ball that far off the line if it's not in. I mean, that's just a bad... Yeah, I agree with you, Peyton.
Bob McElwee is going over to see Tony Dungy. You know, they're going to tell him, if the whistle is blown, it's over, boys. I don't think you cannot replay it if the whistle is blown and he's blown down.
Can't challenge it, right?
Can't challenge it.
This is a good angle to see it from, too.
See, if that ball were in his right hand, then I can understand it. But if the ball was in his left hand, it went over.
Well, here's the other thing, too, is they usually let the runners fight for the extra yards in short yardage and goal line situations. It isn't the first contact where they're blown dead.
As you pointed out, the first time it looked like he got the ball.
He got in there both times. They're only going to give him nothing. Now they're going to review it.
The rule is, Joe, you can always check to see if the ball went over the goal line before the whistle.
Good.
All right, now look at this ball. The ball is in his left hand. Here's the ball hit the plane. He's crossed the plane. They push him back. They got to give him a touchdown.
Well, Paul,
the nose of the ball breaks the plane.
It just has to touch it.
The whole ball was over that big white line.
Remember, it only has to cross the front part of the goal line.
If it touches it, it's over.
A little bit of touch.
That's it. It's over.
But by the length of a football, it looked like he had that one in, and then obviously he was in when he fell.
I believe that should make Tony Dungy a little bit happier once he sees it. There you go.
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Very nice, guys.
After the review.
That's a great job by the officials.
Touchdown.
It really is.
Indianapolis.
And an excellent job by the Colts of making the challenge.
Now, before the kick, you brought up a good point, Michael did, about challenging. When you challenge and you win, you're only allowed 2 challenges. If you challenge and you win, you shouldn't lose the chance to challenge twice.
I think
but
you ought to be able to keep that challenge, but you do.
I don't agree with that. I think that it would make games longer, and if you'd wind up with 4 or 5 challenges. I think 2 is a good number, and the way they handle it right now is good.
Vanderjagt for the point after. It's a 13-10 game. And the Colts drive the length of the field to make it a 3-point contest.
Ice. One day you find you're up to your waist in it. If being in it buys one more day on top of it, fill up the tub. Fill up the tub.
Own a business that operates from home, or do you work out of your house? Make sure things like equipment, supplies, and visitors are adequately covered. The Hartwell Corporation. Insurance, bonds, risk management.
R.C. Willey was the first place I went. It's my first grandchild. I don't want to miss anything.
I wanted to have the best big screen out there because the guys and I got to watch the game.
The sales associate showed me every feature on every camera. He knew everything.
They were able to show me all the newest stuff for way cheaper than anybody else had it.
The R.C. Willey sales associate helped me find exactly what it was I was looking for.
The prices are lower at R.C. Willey.
They had it in stock and delivered it the very next day. They even hauled my own one off for free.
Knowledgeable sales help and the lowest prices guaranteed at R.C. Willey.
It's going to be a great game.
If you claim to be bigger, better, and faster, you've got to back it up. The Toyota Camry at your Northwest Toyota dealer backs up being #1 over and over again. Like Camry versus Accord. More room, goes further, holds more, with a longer warranty. Toyota Camry, the best-selling car 4 out of the past 5 years. And right now, get 0% financing for 36 months. Only at your Northwest Toyota dealer. Now at Peterson Autoplex in Boise. Get the feeling. Toyota.
As an employer, you recognize the importance of group benefits, medical and other health care, life insurance, long-term care. Now, how can we be of benefit and service to you and your employees? The Hartwell Corporation. Insurance, bonds, risk management.
The Colts right back in it after an 80-yard drive that took more than 9 minutes. And an 80-yard drive in this kind of weather is quite an accomplishment. Drones the deep man and takes it on the run at the 6. Drones, 40. Midfield, taken down at the 40-yard line after a 54-yard return. Nick Harper had to make the saving stop.
You know, the way this thing happened is the Colts went down and they stopped. They got in a catching mode instead of a playing mode.
three-point game, but Denver with great field position.
Game day kicks off in the dawn's early light. Work behind the scenes to get it right. From the pigskin makers to the hard hat men, the special teams and the big game plan. This is for the people who never play it down, but really make it rock when the game's in town. This spot's for you, and you and you and you. This spot's for you.
Garage door opener problems? LiftMaster garage door openers are professionally installed.
Here, Daddy, try this.
Ever wonder if you closed your garage door? With our convenient LiftMaster garage door monitor, you'll never have to get up to check again. It tells you at a glance if your garage door is closed. Buy a LiftMaster and get a free mini remote control, a $34.95 value. Hurry, offer ends November 27th.
Thanksgiving Tuesday. John Ritter's girls just want their boyfriends invited on Turkey Day.
So can they come for Thanksgiving dinner?
No.
Okay, Daddy. Can they come Thursday?
It's an all-new 8 Simple Rules, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on ABC.
Great ball game from the Mile High City where the Broncos are clinging to a 13-10 lead over the Colts. Denver starts from the Indianapolis 41. Play action by Beuerlein. Over the middle, intercepted, thrown right to Mike Peterson. Peterson on the return. Still on his feet. Blockers in front, and Peterson down to the 20-yard line. A 52-yard interception return, the second pick tonight for Beuerlein.
I'm going to tell you something. Peterson does, but Walt Harris, number 21, gets 2 blocks on this thing. Which is amazing is the way the defense convert to offense as soon as the pass is intercepted.
Mike,
all right. Here comes Peterson. 52. Now watch 21 on the left-hand side of your screen is going to be Walt Harris. There he is. Boom. Half block. Watch this on a tackle. Clip. He gets another piece. But, you know, watch how they just convert. They convert to offense. They turn upfield. That puts some of these guys on their offense.
The Colts wearing white jerseys in the snow made it, I think, hard for Beuerlein to find them.
The second turnover for Denver. Manning looks weak side and then throws late and caught by Ismail inside the 10.
Mike Peterson in the perfect spot comes up with his 3rd interception. And Beuerlein throws his 2nd interception. One he tried to force, that one again. I just don't think he saw Peterson at all.
Beuerlein playing for the injured Brian Griese. Hurt a week ago, came off the bench, threw 2 passes, both for touchdowns.
They expect Griese to possibly be ready to play next week against San Diego.
And Shannon Sharp should be back soon as well. James, room off the left side. And Walker saved a touchdown. There's a flag down. May have also gotten a face mask.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who they call the face mask on, because I think Edgerrin James might have grabbed his. Not that they would call, but I've seen some things called on offensive players here.
Well, they call it on a defense.
A running back can give a stiff arm and hit a guy in the face, but he can't grab it.
Well, wait a minute. No, they both grab. Walker grabs first. See, look, Edgerrin James's hand is open. It's wide open on the face mask. It's not grabbing. Walker grabs it.
I think Bob McElwee's mic is frozen. Haven't heard from him on the last 3 calls. It's a 1st and goal for the Colts. 2.5 yards away from taking the lead. Manning play fake. And throws it away. Excellent coverage by Denver.
One of the big things down here for a quarterback, and you see a lot of fumbles occur in this area because the center has to reach and try and block tackles or linebackers. The single most important thing that Peyton Manning can do here is once he takes the snap, as his hands start to move, you ride the center as far as you can till you get the ball. And you're going to see Peyton Manning keep 2 hands on the football as he did here and has with his play action now in the second half.
Edgerrin James, the deep man in the backfield. He'll get the carry. James picks his way, touchdown. And the Colts have taken the lead thanks to the interception and the big return by Mike Peterson.
Well, you know, when you watch Edgerrin James run this for this touchdown, you know, it's great vision. Because watch what he's doing. He's going wide first. No, can't go there. And here's the opening right there. And then Peterson, the guy that got the interception, all worthwhile.
Vanderjagt for the point after to make it a 17-13 game, and he converts. So the Colts, first place in their division against the first place Denver Broncos. And it's 17-13. Monday night, a college basketball doubleheader at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Chris Duhon, number 6, Duke against Davidson. Then at 9 Eastern on ESPN, Keith Bogan's number 17, Kentucky against Arizona State at the Maui Invitational. Duke with 4 McDonald's All-Americans recruited by Mike Krzyzewski this year, including Shavlik Randolph, who had 23 points in 18 minutes yesterday.
You started when you won't start it for a while.
Second week in January.
Second week in January. You and Dickie V?
That's right.
You and Mr. Vital.
Edgerrin James now with 99 yards in total offense. The Colts have stuck with the run. 21 carries for James.
You know, it's amazing, Joe, that for 42 minutes and 11 seconds, the Colts, no touchdowns. In the last minute and 34 seconds, too. That's staying with the game.
The other thing, those 5 receptions that Edgerrin James has all came in the first half.
That's right.
He's not caught the ball in the second half, but they've taken up his running load a bit.
Now Beuerlein will have a chance to redeem himself for that last pick that set up the touchdown. Drones again deep, and Tony Dungy, the former head man of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, trying to win a big game on the road. A squib kick taken by one of the up men, Dwayne Carswell, the tight end, and he advances it near the 45. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, we know that with this Colts team, it was always about the offense. Well, Tony Dungy has been hammering a point home since training camp. He said, don't get too involved about the score. Don't ever get into a panic mode. Well, it's been tough to convince them of that, but Tony stressed to them, the defense can hold their own. We saw that on the last series. The defense comes up big. Finally, for the first time, offense and defense are working together on the Colts team, and it's a great thing to see.
And Susie, if this defense continues to improve the way they have in the last 4 or 5 ball games, you better watch out for the Colts. We know they can score points. Anderson, who shifted to fullback this year because they drafted Clinton Portis.
Susie was talking about that Colts defense and saying, hey, look, we'll get there. They sure have. This is Beuerlein early in the game, scrambling around. He gets pressure from Bratsky, and David Gibson winds up with the pick. Now, Mike Peterson right in the perfect spot, and then shows his running back abilities after that.
Look at the turnaround. Over 30 points a game is what they allowed last year, down to 18 this year. They've cut the passing yards down by 56 a game. Beuerlein short set and throws behind Rod Smith, who was open at the 46.
Well, let me ask you a question. Yesterday, we sat down with Tony Dungy. Have you ever known anyone any calmer than he is?
No.
And I'm not talking about, you know, You talk about laid back. Here's a guy, he said, you know, we're patient. Things are going to happen to us. We need some pieces, and we're going to get them. But the way these guys are playing now is okay.
He is coaching like a coach who has the confidence of someone who can build a program, not someone who is coaching that feels like maybe next week will be the last job or last opportunity to coach the team.
Well, he did it at Tampa Bay before he got there. They were just dreadful.
He and Bill Polian make an excellent pair.
Don't they ever? Beuerlein spears the high throw. Under a lot of pressure, completes the pass, but very short and a solid tackle by Jason Doring on Rod Smith.
Well, I'll tell you, Rob Morris, the middle linebacker on a blitz. I mean, he's the guy that forced Beuerlein to throw early.
Time running out here in the third quarter, and you've got to hand it to the Colts defense. They have come on strong and done quite a job tonight. And the Broncos are going to let time expire, and that's the end of the third quarter. Colts 17, Broncos 13.
Watch Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, delivered by UPS.
Oh my gosh, you are so wonderful.
Thank you.
I mean, you're so pretty and tall, and who does your hair? And your smile. I know I'm babbling on, and meeting you, it's just made my day.
You're just saying that because I'm on TV.
You're on TV?
Use any Visa card this holiday season and everyone will want to be nice to you, because each time you use your Visa card, you could win $10,000 for you and $10,000 for a friend.
Oh my gosh, I think you are so wonderful.
Oh, my ears! She's terrible!
She's great.
You're being too easy on her, Hulk.
I like things to be easy.
Like 10-10-220.
Exactly.
I know 10-10-220 is cheap, but it's easy too.
Yeah, there's no signing up. You just pick up the phone and dial it.
And all calls up to 20 minutes are 99 cents.
Easy and cheap. I'll have to try it. Thank you.
I told you she was great.
You should switch to decaf.
Dial 10-10-220.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final bidding. From A to Z, from there to here, I shop the world, all while I'm sitting brand new and collectibles, thank you, on the information superhighway. You'll save more and find things like this when you do it eBay.
The snow is falling in Denver, a quarter to go, and Peyton Manning has led his team to a 17-13 lead over the Denver Broncos as Denver gets ready to punt it away. And if the Colts can win this game, it would be their third straight win. And they've got to give a lot of the credit to their defense. They haven't been able to say that for a long time.
No, it really is kind of neat. And they all agreed. You know, Tony Dungy came with his defense from Tampa. They bought into it. It was easy for them to do that.
The funny thing, Art, is they're not playing the type of defense that Tony Dungy played in Tampa yet, because they're not comfortable with it. Usually a lot of cover two. Corners up, safeties back.
Walters makes the fair catch after a 34-yard punt. And here is the import for Indianapolis. They win this game tonight. They go to 7-4, a game over Tennessee in the AFC South.
And they get to travel to Tennessee in 2 weeks. Peyton Manning's first chance to go back and play in the state of Tennessee as a professional, which would set a huge game up for them.
He certainly built a tremendous fan base as a volunteer.
Houston beating the Giants today. Dom Capers and hip football team. Young David Carr doing a good job learning.
And picking himself up.
Well, staying alive is the first thing he should be congratulated for.
1st and 10 for the Colts. James stretched out and gets nothing. Right now, are you thinking of, let's try to add some points, or is your first focus, let's not do anything stupid?
My thing is keep doing what you started to do. For 45 minutes, don't quit doing it now. And Peyton Manning, don't change anything.
My thing is, where is Marvin Harrison?
Right now,
I don't want to just go to him when I need him. I think I have to include him in this offense a little bit more. But look,